Welcome back. I'm Matt from Jaggers Brewing Co. Today's project is going to be talking about the experiences with the beer gun. Now, I'm not going to review the beer gun or anything like that, but basically up until this point I was either bottle conditioning or kegging, and to be able to share beers with friends I would have to fill a growler from the keg or have bottle conditioned beers. Kind of to help me or help set up a better experience in competing in homebrew competitions and stuff, I decided to get this piece of equipment, a few other things to be able to bottle from the keg and submit. So I've got a few beers here over a couple different sessions of me bottling for competitions. So I was kind of curious of how I did starting off versus kind of some recent entries. I wanted to use this time to experiment with and see did I have any oxidation happening. Some of these beers have been around for a little bit, so if we have some faults, they should hopefully show their heads to help me kind of diagnose another component of those score sheets. Maybe some things that the judges didn't pick up, or just things that had developed and become problems over time. I haven't noticed anything as far as comments went for bottling on these entries. There was one outlier really as far as that went, that was the Rogan beer. I did have a problem with that. It was a little bit overcarbed, so I took some time and tried to decarb it, essentially build it back up. I think maybe that kind of bit me in the butt, so to speak, as far as that went on that particular example, right? But with everything else though, I didn't see any comments as far as the actual condition. So let's crack some of these open and see. So for today, I've got one of the first ones that I bottled. Let's see how well I did. Looking at this, it looks like maybe I had picked up a little bit of yeast or some trub off the keg there when I was bottling. Let's see if it's got any carbonation. Sorry if my hands are looking a little weird. I've got a lot of prickly pear spines in them right now from messing with some fruits for a future brew, so I'm trying to take it easy too. So that had a very good hiss for sure, so it looks like it's got some carbonation. So this is the Bohemian Pilsner lager that I did, Czech lager. Looks like it's got still a fair amount of carbonation. You can hear it, very effervescent. Looking in the bottle, I did get some of that yeasty trub there. It's able to keep that there. So as I was trying to figure things out to bottle, this was one of the ones that I learned kind of the most about when bottling, and I'll go over that in a separate video when I show kind of how I've been kegging. But looks very, very similar to the way that it was when I bottled it. Still smells pretty fresh. This was kind of towards the beginning of the year. Had dissipated some. Still tastes really wonderful. I'm not really detecting any kind of oxidation. I know the condensation's not really doing me any favors here on this glass, but still pretty clear, clean, bright. I'm gonna say I did a pretty good job with that one. I don't taste any kind of oxidation or any off flavors or anything like that. I'm gonna chop that one up to a victory there. If you go back and you look at the video, like I said, it wasn't necessarily the best. Definitely still needs a little bit of work, but I think it's a good stepping stone for the style. Let's see here, what else? Rye Irish Stout. This was the first beer that I bottled from the keg. Looking at it, I mean, it's gonna be a stout, so it's pretty dark. I can't really see through the glass, but let's see how that one fared. Had a pretty good hiss, and I'm gonna say I might have gotten a little over excited there when I bottled that one. I remember I did fight a little bit of filling these. This was, like I said, the first time that I had bottled, so I had some issues. So as you can see, pretty well carved, right? I'll give this a minute to settle down and we'll come back to it. I guess like I said, I did fight some overcarbonation issues with that. That was the first time that I had bottled with the beer gun, so you know, it is what it is. I learned some lessons during that particular one for sure. We'll get back to that one. I want to say that one for near last. I don't have any of the Kentucky Common, so it's going to be kind of hard to do, or I mean any more of the Rogan beer. So let's go with this one. This is the American Wheat beer. The video should have just released recently on that one. Let's see how this one did. Plenty of carbonation there. As we can see, no volcano. With the other one, I guess there's always the possibility of some kind of infection in the bottle that would have done that too, but I don't think that that's the case. I think that was all me when I was bottling and fighting pressures. This one too looks like it's got just a little bit of settlement in it, not anywhere near what the other one had there. So definitely has a good amount of carbonation. I'm gonna say it doesn't look like we've picked up any of the oxidation notes as far as color distortion. Smells very bright, very fresh. This is a fairly recent beer too, you know, for me. I'd say this one's probably been in the bottle 2-3 months maybe. When I bottled it up for some competitions, I ended up needing a few less bottles than I initially planned. When I've been bottling, I've learned to have a few extra bottles than I plan to bottle for, so that way if I have an issue I can go back and I have some extra bottles essentially. I don't have to go back and re-clean the ones that I had a mess up on or anything like that. So still smells fresh. I'm not picking up on any off flavors or oxidations with that, so that's really good. that Bohemian Pilsner, that's probably been in the bottle for, I don't know, maybe about 5 months or so. I think I actually like this beer more now that it's been in the bottle as long as it has, than fresh out of the tap. It seems to kind of maybe help change it for the better, tone down a little bit of the citrus notes that I was pulling from it originally. So I'm gonna chalk that one up to success as well. So that's the American wheat Bohemian Pils. Let's see. Here's the Rye Irish Stout. I did just see a clump of yeast going there. So I'm gonna say at this point I probably need to look into what to do to help prevent that. I know some people have been using like those floating dip tubes, and maybe I need to or floating yeah, the floating dip tubes. So maybe I need to look into that, because you know, even though it is a dark beer, we can kind of see some of these yeast floaties here. So I'm gonna say, because 3 out of 3 now have had them, that's probably gonna be a ding there, you know. Oh wow, some age has really helped this beer. I remember being disappointed originally when I had that beer. This thing's kind of been able to, I guess, mature a little bit more. It got some pretty decent coffee and chocolate notes. Not picking up on any oxidation there, any of that like cardboard or moldy muskiness. No sherry notes or anything like that. So I'm gonna chalk that up to a win as well. I mean, minus the overcarbonation issue that I've obviously had, and the debris that was what has been in these. All in all, still really a good beer. Like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised about how that one has aged, which I guess could be another testament to this experiment, how, you know, how things aged. So next up is going to be the California Common. So this is one that's been around for a little bit. I think it's been in the bottle, I don't know, 3 months, thereabouts. Let's see how we did on this one. All right, we've got a little bit of overcarbonation. Nothing at all like the Rye Irish Stout. So the Rye Irish Stout was the first one that I bottled as a test run. The first serious one that I did was this Bohemian Czech Pils. After that, the rest of them are more or less within the same time frame, different sessions of bottling, but more or less, you know, maybe a couple weeks apart. So like, there was a lot of fine tuning between the Rye Irish Stout and the Bohemian Pilsner. A little less with the American Wheat, Kentucky Common, California Common, and then the Rye IPA over here. The Rye IPA I'm going to be really interested in to see for sure about any kind of oxidation issues. The California Common was probably bottled either right around the same time that the American Wheat was, or maybe possibly even just before it. I can't remember. I should have taken notes when I did that, and so that's probably gonna be an all on me deal. So we're gonna have to give this some time. Let's see how the Kentucky Common did, how that ended up. Sounds like it's got a pretty good amount of hiss on it. Don't see any giant signs of overcarbonation. I might have to retract that statement a little bit. So, I guess we have a couple themes going now. Maybe I'm overusing or overfilling with some carbonation there, and some of the cleanliness of the beers. This is kind of disappointing, but you know what? That's what homebrewing is about. It's about trying some stuff, learning some lessons, and then evaluating those lessons and making the adjustments necessary. Let's go back and, I guess, play this dangerous game of filling overcarbonated beer, right? Well, I wasn't planning on re-cleaning this, but apparently I'm going to have to do that now. Put it up all nice and clean, but shit happens, right? Alright, well, while we're doing this, might as well get a third one involved in this test, right? So here's the Rye IPA. And all these have videos for you guys to watch. All the links will be in the description. Now, noticeably, it had a little quieter of a hiss. Looks like we've got some good bubbles going. So far so good with the cleanliness of the beer. Have a noticeable lack of thick, frothy head. That was the whole bottle. Does not look like there's anything in the bottom of this. This was the last beer that I've bottled. Very beautiful, clean beer. Smells like fresh berries and citrus. Not picking up on any signs of oxidation through the nose. The taste is wonderful. Nice, still bright. What I would expect from an IPA. No signs of oxidation there either that I can detect. I'm gonna say that this is probably so far the best job I've done yet. Again, no floaties from the yeast or trub, no signs of oxidation. I would say maybe could have used a touch more carbonation there, but all in all, I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna say this is the California Common. Definitely see some stuff floating around in there. We've got plenty of carbonation going there. I don't remember this beer looking that dark and or cloudy originally, so that's a sad sign there, you know. I'm gonna say we definitely picked up some of the yeast in the trub there for sure. Just looking at it floating around, kind of making me a little upset. Now this one, the California Common, does smell different than I remember. I'm not picking up any on the malt, the roast aspect there. Seems kind of toned down some. Got some malt profile there. I'm worried though, honestly. I was trying to save this one for last because I didn't want the IPA to like blow out my palate, right? And I'm thinking maybe what little that I drunk there kind of already popped it a little bit. It does not taste quite as right, in my opinion. To me, that's probably the least same tasting beer that I've brewed and bottled. And here is the Kentucky Common. Now these things are normally a little bit higher carbonated anyways. They were served a lot fresher than this one is. This one's probably 7, 8, almost 9 months old now. I bottled it, I don't know, probably 5, 6, 7 months ago. Now I know the glass is going to kind of make it a little harder to see just because of all the print, but looks still fairly clear, clean. I don't see any yeast or trub. Not really seeing any here at the bottom of the bottle either. I'm going to say this is probably the number 2 best job that I've done. Bottling tastes fairly similar to when I had it in the keg. Definitely feels like it's fallen off a little bit, but not a ton. I'm really surprised with that. I would figure because it's like a fresh served beer, like the shelf life, you know, would have naturally been lower versus in the keg. This is one that at this point I can see going ahead and brewing and then turning around after a little bit of time in the keezer, you know, pull a few pints off of it and then go ahead and bottle up the rest of them. I'm gonna say that's old number 2 there. This is probably gonna be one of the worst jobs that I've done, the California Common. I'm sorry that this has kind of turned into a little bit of a ranking thing, but I'm trying to determine. So this is the American Wheat. I'll give that the old 3rd place, followed by the Bohemian Pills. I mean, the Rye Irish Stout at this point, it's got to be second to last, and then the California Common's got to take last place there. So, I mean, all in all, I'm really happy that I held on to some of these for this idea. I know obviously that I've got some work to do, you know. I mean, if this is number 1, right, and this is number 2, I've kind of got to lean back towards a little bit more of what I did there. So not to say that I know exactly what I did, because I didn't take the greatest notes. Man, excuse me, that overcarbonated beer is really getting to me. But I'm obviously going to have to try to replicate what I did here versus what happened over here in this area. You know, I mean, this was the first time that I bottled. You know, I watched a few, well, not that one. I got the bottles mixed up. There we go. So the Rye Irish Stout was the first one that I bottled after watching a few YouTube videos and tutorials. I obviously had some issues there. I guess I need to look into some kind of filtration there. You know, when I was transferring off of the bucket into the keg, I did my standard procedure of purging the keg of air. So I'm gonna say that I think that one helped. And then 2, when using the beer gun, activating this trigger here for the CO2 flow into the bottle, and then filling with that trigger up. Now some of these I did a combination of just go until beer flows out of the top, and then hurry up, put a cap on it, cap it, crimp it right then and there, and then repeat the process. You know, so some of these were kind of 2 people jobs where I had someone helping me when I was bottling, and then, you know, here, hurry up, go crimp. Some of these were just me solo and focusing on every step of the process by myself. So I obviously have a little bit more playing around to do with these and figuring them out. But you know, thank you so much, guys, for coming by. And if you've got any hints of how to bottle from the keg, you know, things to use to operate this more efficiently and effectively, let me know. I'd appreciate it. I'm sure the rest of the viewers that are contemplating doing it would be. You know, I chose the beer gun over a few other options, just given some people that I know that it seemed like the beer gun was kind of more than half of the recommendations of doing it. It was a pretty cheap entry point into being able to have processed beer to the bottle like this. And I'm not angry about it or anything like that, you know. I mean, I'm really digging this ability to be able to bottle my own beer and share with my friends. Got just a little bit more work to do though. Like I'm almost right there on it. So thank you again, guys, so much for watching and putting up with my silly shenanigans. Cheers. Catch you guys next time.